You know, we haven't talked about in a while are dead people.
Nobody's died.
Well,
How about dead fish?
No, it's
Dead
been
fish.
like a great month.
Well, no.
Nobody important has died.
They're stacked up. We haven't gotten to the ones that died like last month. Hey, we don't have to get to it right now, but we should talk about it because there are some big ones.
Yeah, there
I
are.
need to see if I can find my list.
Well, welcome back to the show. We haven't done a show for a couple weeks, right?
That's because Paul
I know. What did I do? Oh, I went to New York City.
staying in a suite, a presidential suite,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
eating cheese and
Bumping uglies with the
Eating-
locals.
hitting the hookers.
Eating cheese? The other two were fine. Yeah, but eating cheese?
Bumping uglies?
Yeah, cheese and wine is what I meant to say. Not
Cheese
just
and wine.
cheese.
Oh,
yes.
that's when you get a really nice restaurant
Yes.
or hotel.
the
That's what they give you.
charcuterie, some meats and nuts.
Well, I will tell you, when I walked into the room, there was none of that. No hookers, no cheese and wine, no.
They just went on the bed, just
Were there like nuts
Spread
and
eagle wing
Budweiser
for you?
bottles?
There was nothing. I had to go get my own bottle of Evan
Did you,
Williams.
Did you find the liquor store?
I did. It's so sad. You know what? I bought a bottle of Evan Williams. I bought a little 12-pack of Coke Minis
Right.
because I knew I was going to be there 3 nights. So I figured, okay, well, rather than, go
I
get
can go through a gallon.
Oh, yeah, no. So I went through 4 of those. No, anyway, but I was so sad. And I ended up leaving the entire 12-pack in the room. I think I opened 1 can.
What, did they have any nice bourbons in the liquor store? Anything you
No, I just got Evan Williams.
didn't go searching for the
No, you didn't peruse the
for
selection.
the unicorn?
Well, first off, everything is like quadruple priced there.
Well, New York, it's like the
Oh, it's
This is true.
ridiculous.
yeah,
It's
That's
completely
true.
ridiculous.
quintuple taxed.
But I will say, I'm not a big fan of big cities. I'm more of a suburb country guy. And when I was in Chicago, I didn't like it at all. I was literally downtown.
Yeah, but it is a good experience.
But here's the thing. After the third day, I was like, this is kind of, I was starting to enjoy
does
it.
it grow on you?
It was growing on me. And
And
it really shocked me.
I enjoyed being in New York City, just the walking.
Yeah.
Because to get from point A to point B, you don't get in your car.
Well, everything's right there. That's kind of
everything's
what
right
it is,
there.
right? It's like you
Well,
got your
you
little,
hop on a subway and
your
you
little bodegas.
go like
and
15 blocks and you take
restaurants.
the A train and whatever, and
Yeah.
you walk. I mean, I walked a lot.
Oh, yeah. You walk everywhere.
like 20,000 steps in a day. It was ridiculous.
And it was funny. I picked a hotel that was a little bit closer to Central Park. It was,
Was it with all the illegals?
upper Manhattan. I didn't see
Oh.
any illegals, but I was in really nice area of Manhattan, and I
Did
got
you
a
go by the
hotel
taco stands?
closer to Central Park.
Any hot dogs?
And here's what's funny. So my office is in the Rockefeller Building. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
oh.
seriously, ridiculous. Like the history there and all that. I mean, that's one of the icon buildings of
Isn't that where
of New York.
Isn't that where NBC is?
Yeah,
In the Rockefeller Center.
that's
and-
right. That's exactly right.
Did they still have the Christmas tree up?
So that apparently lowers up from the ground. Did you know that?
No.
They
I thought they brought a new one in every year.
My understanding is they open up something and it comes from the ground up.
Isn't there a big thing where they find the tree somewhere in the U.S. and they chop it down and like truck it in?
No, that's the presidential tree.
They don't do that in Rockefeller? You
I-
sure?
I don't know. I don't know.
know.
But I will tell you. So the first morning I was
One of those big trees, they do that too.
walking to the Rockefeller building Rockefeller building, and I'm walking.
You're
And
like, I got to take a shit. I can do it right here on the sidewalk in New York.
That's the thing, and I did, and it was wonderful. And people clapped, and they go, "Are you from out of town? Is that your first experience?" I said, "Yes."
They're like, hey, there's Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul, you want some toilet paper?
Wow.
Nah, I'm just going to use my hands.
Wow.
Do you see any fecal
I got
matter?
some wet wipes.
No, actually, it was. You know what? I think in certain areas it's really nice. Like in Chicago,
Oh, sure it is.
It was really nice, and people every morning were spraying down their sidewalks and cleaning up their trash. I mean, the shop owners are very proud. The apartment and apartment buildings are very diligent, right? So I mean, I think
There's over 1 million people have moved out.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. Anyway, but let me tell you a funny story. So I'm not the kind of person that like, before I go out there, I like size up everything. Okay, there's my hotel, there's this, there's that. Okay, there's Chinatown, or there's this or that. And so the first morning I'm walking to the office, and I'm walking and I'm like, oh my God, this all looks familiar. It's Times Square. And I'm walking literally through the middle of
Isn't
Times
that
Square.
great?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh shit.
You're like,
this
where's
is-
the ball?
Did you go?
Right.
Where's the ball?
Did you
at?
go down there at night at all? At Times Square at night?
I walked through it to get back to my hotel.
But it was at night.
Oh yeah. Oh no. It was, lit up like a Christmas tree.
God bless.
Oh, it was
man.
crazy.
It was amazing.
Did you go to any peep shows?
And by the way, that's 24/7. It's lit up like that. Like it were Vegas. You know what I mean?
And it's busy.
Oh,
There are
yeah.
people there
Well,
around the clock.
Well, there's
Right.
tourists, right? There's tourists, and then there's people that are walking to work, and
Can you tell the tourists are like, oh my god,
Well, they're usually
Oh,
the
yeah.
ones
taking the pictures and
oh yeah,
the selfies and getting hit by cabs?
oh yeah, you can
and get,
get hit by
mugged.
cab. I tell you what, that's the other thing. I'm amazed that people don't get hit like every corner, every hour.
Did you see any like bike messengers just zipping down?
Bike
Like in that-
messengers.
In that movie Quicksilver?
No, I didn't. But I swear you gotta be careful because nobody's following the rules. Like the motorcycles and the scooters and the bicycles, they just blow right through the
Oh yeah.
they blow
Yeah.
right through the streetlights, and then that
Well,
people
it's 'cause they can get
people
away
have
with
to
it.
like jump back, and it's crazy.
They could totally get away with it, you know. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
can make a fortune if you get yourself a little scooter and a little Uber Eats account. You can make some deliveries,
Yeah,
and you can just there to make all your deliveries. It's crazy.
it is.
It is. It's crazy because
It's crazy.
They drive around. I mean, in fact, the cops don't even give a shit. They care. They get kind of disgusted. They're kind of like, "Hey, go on through," because they can't do anything. It's like, what am I? They gonna chase them? Stop!
Right.
Or my friend
No.
up the street will say, "Stop."
No, I actually, to be honest, I never saw any cops the whole time I was there in 3 days.
They only have 3 left.
Really?
Yeah, I saw none. That's funny you mentioned that. I
Really?
saw absolutely none. Anyway, so let me tell you. So I was walking through Times Square, and I was like, wow, and I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm going in that direction. And then I look up at the horizon, and there's no tall buildings, and I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going the wrong way here, right? So I spent 15 minutes walking in the wrong direction. Yeah, I don't know what it is about cities. I get so
Was that like after the 15th Evan Williams?
this is 7:15 in the morning.
So it's just 12.
So you were late.
So yeah, so I would it was just 4. Yeah, just 4.
Did you go to the 9/11 memorial?
I did not. You know, it was busy. I mean, it was.
Well, you're there for work too.
I was
right?
there for work, exactly.
So you're
the,
busy from daylight,
Yep.
right? And then
So the
afterward,
first night, I went out to dinner with my project colleagues, and the second night it was with the leadership colleagues. The third night was with my boss.
Did you get any pizzas?
No pizza. Yeah, that's what I wanted the third night, and my boss
Right.
was kind of like, "Oh, I don't want pizza." You know?
Oh man, we went and had pizza out there. Had 2 slices, and for me, I'm
They're
like,
huge slices too, aren't
I'm
they?
like,
enough.
really? Is that it? 2 slices. I'm like, that's good.
You were done.
Oh, but it was.
They're
so
big,
good.
aren't they?
Yeah, they're big pies.
Well,
yeah,
that's
they're
what they
big.
say.
Yeah.
New York style pizza.
Well, that's just thin,
Gigantic slices.
right?
Yeah, I also went to a couple on the New Jersey side of the Hudson. Some Italian restaurants had some cannolis.
Oh, I bet that's good shit.
It was so good.
Just like down here,
yeah.
you get good Tex-Mex. I think the Italian will be really good up there.
Oh man, I
know,
love
but
the
that's the thing,
sausage meatball sandwiches.
Meatballs.
I just wish I did a better job of like planning before I went out there. You know what I mean? I'm going to New York City. I go there once every freaking 15 years.
I've never been.
Oh, right, exactly. So I mean, I wish I had been like, you know, like you said, it was a work visit, but still I should have been like, try this and try that. and
Yeah.
go do that. And
Sounds like your time was pretty
but
much consumed,
it,
though.
it totally
But
is.
it, you
totally
can
is.
you can totally go to Google Maps and you can do a fly over New York,
I
dive on almost on the street, and do
Correct.
a 3D
I
fly
know.
anywhere,
I know.
and pop your buildings in that you want to go. Pick your course. You can go out there. Did you see the Statue of Liberty from a distance?
You know what? I never saw the Statue of Liberty. No, I did see. I was staring at the Empire State Building from my window basically the whole time.
Nude.
It was nude. The
Did you
Empire
manage
State
to
Building was nude.
Smashed everything against the window.
You smash your balls up
was
there.
I nude? Oh no, it was a big meeting, a big business meeting.
Oh, I thought you
Oh.
said the hotel.
I wanted to.
So you weren't-
Oh, the whole time I
so
was
you
like,
weren't- you
man,
weren't
if I
Jeffrey
could
Tubin
shed
it?
these clothes and be totally nude looking out this window.
Oh, you were totally
Right.
Jeffrey Tubin it.
Oh no, not really. But you
I
know.
thought we were on a Zoom call. No, you can see me.
Oh my god.
No, we're in person, Paul.
You mind putting your little pocket pillow away?
Wow. No, none of that.
I'd like to
Anyway.
go sometime, but I just wanted to calm down a little bit.
Wanted to calm
What,
down.
New York?
New York.
You know what?
It's never going to calm
Well,
down.
no, just the crime that I hear. Maybe it's not as bad
It's
as
not.
is
It's
what you
not.
see on the
Chicago's the same way, right? We hear about 14 shootings every night, all the kind of stuff. And that stuff happens. It happens, but it's not.
They're in localized areas.
Exactly. And it's not anywhere.
And what the New York mayor
generally.
said about the God bless it, like the person being pushed off of the ledge onto the subway tracks,
Right.
and he was kind of like, it's we got 3 million passengers on the subway every single day. He's like,
is he Rocky?
Yeah.
But it's just-
I want to meet this guy.
but to put it into perspective, it's kind of like, if you were to take that on a ratio or percentage, it's a really small amount that's affected by crime.
Right. No, I get it.
And from that perspective, when I went down there, I saw a bunch of hoodlums. I didn't have a problem with any of them, but I was what is the word? I was aware, but there's I was ready to whip their ass, is what I was doing. I was on alert.
You were intimidating.
No, I was. That's not the word. What is it? I was vigilant. Is what the word I was looking for. I was vigilant. I didn't let anybody come behind me. I was kind of like,
You're like,
Yeah, I can just see you right now. Yeah,
Dude,
everybody that comes close, you're like, hey, back away. Hey, get off it. Why are you behind me?
no, you got to tactfully do it. But
No,
you
yeah,
know
if
what?
I was-
you have to be assertive.
yeah, if I was in the subway, I wouldn't stand up close.
Yeah,
But
no,
now these people smash their shit in your face.
there's shit.
Yes.
Like their feces?
yes, they shit. And then there's footage of that too in the subway. Yes.
Oh, I've not heard of that. I did ride the subway one night.
Yes.
It wasn't bad. It was a ton of commuters, right?
What was his
Right.
name?
What? Rode the subway?
Oh.
Really? Anyway, so here's the thing. Any of that stuff can happen anywhere, right? And we read all these stories about, as a matter of fact, I thought I was sharing that story with you guys when I was talking to the Uber driver in Chicago, and she was like, oh, you're from Texas? Oh, it's, so is it this and this and that and this and that? And I said, oh, and you're from Chicago, and is it this and that and this and that? And both of us were laughing about how what we read in the news is neither one of us experienced that in our life, right? In our world.
that is true. I meet a lot of people that I work with that have a predetermined thought when I show up.
Of course.
And they're like, how many weapons you got with you?
Right.
I'm just like,
Do you have a horse at home?
I've got 16 that you can't see.
Yeah.
Right. Right. No, I'm not going to show you.
Right.
But so I think that's just the news drumming up stuff.
Of course it
But
is.
maybe it isn't that way for everywhere. But look at Portland.
I don't think it is. I think it is that way. I think that people are scared of Texas because we're all armed. Really, that's what it is. We have not just in the United States. We have that stigma around the world.
Yeah,
correct.
there are people that I know in Dallas, Texas right now that are from Ukraine, for example. They've been here for about 5 years. But when they first got here, I met them, and they were just kind of like, yeah, we were kind of nervous coming here because we know everyone's all armed. And I'm just like, we're not a fucking
We're not
militia.
shooting each other.
That is exactly what the Chicago Uber girl said to me. She goes, I don't know if I really want to move out of Chicago, and I have a friend in Dallas, but I just don't know because everybody's got guns.
You
And I
say,
was
well,
like,
what that does is,
And I
is it
felt like
makes it
saying-
safer.
Yeah, it
And I
levels
said-
the
and-
field.
and I said, it's funny you say that because I read every day about how there are endless and relentless shootings in Chicago every single day.
And you're not allowed to have guns.
Correct.
Right. And I'm just like, so you see how it's like just not, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy.
But there are.
But both are true.
Well, hold on. But they don't
Both
have
of those-
deaths like that in Texas. In Chicago, they have deaths every weekend.
Every
weekend, yeah.
Every weekend.
From shootings like that you never hear of because it's in the black community and they're not going to share how the reality is over there. In Texas,
I think
they don't
it's
have
just,
shootings
right.
like that.
It's just it's a Democrat leftist narrative that they don't want. They don't want that exposed.
Well, I tell you, man, the left. I'm hoping. Even with this January 6th thing that even Tucker Carlson came out with his special,
Yeah,
and
crazy.
with all the video review that they're doing, they're like, kind of, hey, this insurrection thing wasn't so much an insurrection. It was more of something that you guys planned. In fact, going through Instagram, they have all these polls that you take. And it says, hey, do you think the insurrection was planned? And you click yes or no. And I click mine and it says, hey, 97% of the people think that it was planned by the Democrats.
For real?
97%.
Oh my God! That's crazy.
97% of the Democrats think that?
No,
97% of all people who took the poll
Oh.
thought
think the
that.
Democrats planned it.
Yeah, that it was a planned event, and it was planned, but they clearly, based on what Tucker Carlson, what they portrayed
Selective
in
editing.
there, a lot of selective editing, but not from the Tucker Carlson show. That's what the Democrats did. They did
That's
selective
correct.
editing to
Correct.
As part of the
portray a certain
commission,
thing.
yeah.
Did you hear what the Chuckster Schumer said about it? He's cherry picking scenes. I'm thinking,
Schumer is saying that Tucker is cherry picking.
yeah, he had a comment today, little speech or whatever. Says he's
Well,
just
you know
cherry
what?
picking. I was like, no, that's what you guys did.
Well,
He's showing the rest of it.
I don't know. They say there's 40,000 hours.
Well, he also said, because I watched Tucker Carlson that episode, and he's like, there's 40,000, but the vast majority of it is nonsense. It's a video of an empty room for hours.
Okay, so it's really not okay. But but I just wonder, I wouldn't put it past Tucker to to get ratings and to have it be shock value and to have it drum up ratings and all that kind of stuff, for him to just show the stuff that is contradictory to the commission.
Well, he had to pass it by the DC police. So their videos that they were going to show,
Okay.
they had to get approval by the DC police to show it.
Okay. I just what I do trust Tucker
Well, he
more
may
than
have-
I do
he
the
may
right,
have been
the
selective.
left, the mainstream
were-
media. But I think they can still be influenced by showing what they want to get ratings.
That's
as well.
true
Right.
on both sides of the aisle. But
Right.
what he did show was stuff that they clearly brought out in the open. Like, for example, that Ray Epps dude.
Oh, yeah.
There were
yeah.
tons of video of that guy
Shady dude, man.
just orchestrating, and it's the power of suggestion. I say that all the time. It's the power of suggestion. Some people have a way of talking to people and getting them riled up and to go in there, and that's what he did. He went around and got in a bunch of separate groups, trying to instigate them to go, hey, we need to go in there. We need to go in there now. We need to go in there and do this. He would stop because they
Keep
would
moving. He's
Some
got
people-
he's got the horn.
Oh,
Keep
and some
moving,
people would be like, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" This guy's a Fed. You ever see some of the video how some people called him out? So he would shut down. He would go into another group and incite that. And they found out that he had sent a text to his grandson or something like that. It says, "I just orchestrated an insurrection
That's
at
what I read too.
the Capitol." And he says, I'm leaving right now. And then it turns out that he didn't leave.
He was still there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that footage.
And
Yeah,
that's
Tucker
kind of
said
what
he
Tucker
lied.
said.
He
And-
lied to the commission about that.
And I'm kind of like, 30 minutes. I mean, if I were out somewhere all day long, I might miss it by 30 minutes,
I thought that too.
I'm thinking, all right, well, I'm not really going to say, oh, he's a liar, or discredit his whole testimony based on 30 minutes of time management
Timeline,
issue,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
However, that one guy, that QAnon...
The shaman.
shaman guy.
What the hell? They were escorting him
That right
very,
there.
very.
That was
calmly.
clear. That was very clear help. I mean, there was.
They're trying doors for him. To
Yeah,
get him
they
in.
were
and
like, hey, why don't you
one
come
of them
through
was
here?
locked, and they were like, "Hey, you want to come in here?" Oh, never mind, it's locked. Oh.
Yeah, let's go try another door.
What is going on there?
Yeah, that was weird. And he's
mean, what
walking
could
right past
possibly be
police
going on
and,
there?
And and it's just like, how can this be an insurrection when they're walking in the ropes and no one's doing anything? There are people picking up garbage, and then you have some people going through there. They're all rowdy, total NTF.
I know.
And then they have there's a video of them passing bats out through the window, or passing something out through the window for the guys to use.
I don't know.
I didn't see that.
It is some crooked shit. There are groups of people that are all wearing the same outfit,
Right.
and their left hand is on the left shoulder of the person in front of you, and they're snaking their way through the crowd to get up into the
Did
building.
he show this footage?
Yeah, well, he didn't show it, but it's footage that's available out
I
there.
wonder if that'll come out. I feel we'll eventually show it.
Yeah.
So again,
It just kind of makes you wonder and there were all kinds of weird. I don't want to say weird. There were all kinds of types of people in that group that were whittling their way. There's probably 20 people that were all in a row, and they're walking kind of like with authority, kind of walking through there, and they're like, "Oh, we can make it through here." All wearing khakis, all wearing the same colored shirt and the same hat. It was just like it's like an army of. Those had to have been plants. CIA,
Here's-
FBI.
Here's actually what I think. I think it was orchestrated to a degree. right? They wanted this to look bad, right? They knew it was going to be a hypercharged event. They knew that Trump was addressing his fans or whatever.
Let them in. We'll sell it.
And they said, "Yep, let's let them get close. I guarantee it's going to from an optics perspective, it's going to look bad." And then they had some people kind of riling them up, right, and getting them instigated. And then there were some that were being real about it. Like they really did get all bent out of shape.
Yeah, I'm sure there were some folks
because we
there.
saw that. We saw them breaking windows, and I think those people were really doing it. But I think they were also being egged on to create a scene.
Yeah, but
now then I think it got out of control.
Proven to be Antifa. There were proven people that were Antifa breaking windows. Not that all of them were, because I don't know, but we do know for sure that the ones that were breaking the windows were Antifa. Yeah, and when they broke the windows, they were passing shit through the window that was coming from inside out. So there's
how to get inside.
Well, I'm saying there were. That's what I'm saying. This was premeditated. There were tools inside that they were using. I don't know what they were. I do,
but I do think it got out of hand. I think it was planned and orchestrated to be up close, right, to the steps where you're not supposed to go,
right.
And it got out of hand, and that's why I think a number.
Well, then
of
they saw tear gas into the crowd,
right?
That's what kind of kicked it off,
right?
So did you guys watch the Chris Rock Netflix?
No, I've seen some snippets.
So I will tell you, I watched about 2/3 of it last night, and I like Chris Rock. It was pretty disheartening to the point where I even posted to Twitter. And I was just like, it shows like that in his tone in the show. First of all, he's anti-white. Okay.
So he was dogging white people the whole time?
He's dogging white people. And he was just like, I don't understand why, white people are getting mad because black people are getting recognition. You still have control over everything. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah. I mean, and why do you have to talk? I mean, it's the line. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny. And he was just like, and let me tell you, Republicans are just flat out liars. Liars. Republicans are liars. And Democrats, because he was saying, well, both sides of the aisle have problems. Republicans, they're just flat out liars. They lie about everything. Lie, lie, lie. And Democrats, they just don't tell you the whole truth. And I was like, this guy.
So he's saying they both lie, but he's just sugarcoating what Democrats are. He's making a joke there.
And it's just, and I'll tell you what, I enjoy the comedy of Chris Rock. I enjoy the comedy of Dave Chappelle. This is what really grinds my gears. Is this that I think the fact that they continue to use that language in their circles is what's harboring this hate. It's harboring this hate, and it is a negative influence on the relationships between black people and everybody else. And I will tell you,
the fact that they use that word.
It's the fact that they use that word, and I'll tell you this too. And it's 90% of it is against white people. Because you can have Hispanics that will say, and it's totally accepted. I don't know about Asians or anything like that, but I'm just saying it disgusts me because I just think it's inappropriate. I wouldn't say that in front of people. I mean, I'm saying it on the podcast because, for the shock and awe of it. But
because it's all going to be edited anyway.
No, I hope it's not edited because, look, at the end of the day, it's not supposed to be offensive. What it's supposed to be is I'm supposed to convey an idea and my observations of that and all the comedians out there that use it. I think it's inappropriate that they say it, and they think that the children that watch that show, because it's on Netflix.
Oh yeah, #1 show.
That's an appropriate way to talk, and that's how black people talk. Well, you know what? It's not. And I think Chris Rock nailed it when he was like, why are you a bitch? How come you didn't smack Will Smith back? And he says, you know why? Because I have parents, and they taught me better. Well, you know what? They should have taught you how to fucking study vocabulary,
right? And
and
how to
what
speak
to say
appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Well, I was surprised because in the few snippets that I saw, I've never seen a Chris Rock stand up or anything like that. I was surprised at how he talked, the amount of profanity and the amount of everything that he would.
Well, wasn't Eddie Murphy the same way? I mean, he used a ton of profanity.
Yes, but he didn't talk like that.
Okay, so he was like totally ghetto, is what you're saying.
No, I mean, it was just,
Chris Rock?
Yeah,
it was just raunchy I mean, it was just raunchy.
The delivery was part of it.
You know,
Right.
and he was,
Eddie Murphy, well, he was mad last night, too, in some of these sections. The section I saw, when he talked about Will Smith, he was pretty worked up.
He got fired up.
It's like he's been holding on to this for a year, and he finally just let it out.
yeah, he did. And he talked about, I mean, there was a funny part, but still, it was just kind of inappropriate when he was talking about how rich guys can get money. Rich guys can get women. And he was just like, rich guys, they're not shopping for 40, 50-year-olds. They're shopping for younger women. And he starts talking about the difference. Yeah, a younger girl in her 20s, they're going to want shoes. Why don't you buy me the pair of shoes? And he starts kind of mocking that. He says, you get your women in the 40s and the 50s. He said, hey, I need to go pick up my car from the auto shop. Can you take me over there? That comparison there was kind of funny, but he started talking about, God bless it was Will Smith. I lost my train of thought. It was just...
Well, he called him out.
Trashy. Oh,
He
it was
called him out
Elon
big
Musk.
time.
That's what it was. He was talking about dating women. He was like, talk about Elon Musk. He was starting to talk. You know why he looks so funny? Because he's got negative cum inside of him. He says that man comes, because imagine all the women throwing themselves at him.
Right.
And it's like he's got negative cum, and that's why he looks all goofy looking.
Negative.
Yeah, he says he's got
Like less than zero.
Yeah.
He's
I mean,
trying to catch up.
So you found him offensive, I guess.
Oh, it was just.
Would that be the word you use? He's offensive.
Yeah, and look, I don't. And look, the language that like Eddie Murphy would use, like in Delirious, for example, he was raunchy, and he's talking about gay people. Ooh, Mr. T, let's bend over. Yeah, that was funny, but it wasn't. It still wasn't like what Chris Rock was. He was talking about
Totally classless.
It was tasteless, and it was. But he struck a chord with me earlier in the set by talking about how white people are privileged. It's like you still own the company, or you still own the country, and it's just like you guys you had your own insurrection, and you couldn't even do that. It's like, what are you insurrecting? You already own it. It's like,
come on.
It just was inappropriate and ignorant. He was ignorant.
That's the word. Ignorant is the word.
And I was just like, but my problem is that the children are watching this.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I will tell you.
It's only getting worse, man.
Well, I will tell you, Dave Chappelle has a very elegant way of talking. And he's actually a smart. Well, I don't know if Chris Ross is smart, so I don't want to take that away from him, but he was raunchy. But Dave
I think
Chappelle,
his delivery is smarter, the way he talks.
Oh, and plus he talks like with ration, and he doesn't downplay all white people like Chris Rock did. Chris Rock just outright put white people down. Dave Chappelle, he spun it so that it was perfect. I still don't like the language of. I just think it's just tasteless, and it kind of takes away from the experience. If they could just eliminate that one word, then it'd be fine. That's just my opinion. Suck it.
What should they replace it with?
They just don't say it.
Yeah, but in their culture,
hold on.
Totally accepted.
But hold on, that's the problem. That's the problem right there.
Their culture.
What culture is that?
It's the prevalent black culture. I mean, they all call each other that.
Well, you know what?
I mean, listen to their rap music. Listen to their, listen to
then you know what? If they want to be respected and included as a wholesome of everybody and all inclusive, then you got to act like it. And that means that you got to step up and you got to change your vocabulary a little bit.
You mean act like a white person is what they'd say.
No, that's what they would say, but that's not the case either because there's a bunch of white trash.
Who are you to tell me what word I'm supposed to use and not use?
Correct.
Yeah.
Now, we can't use. I mean, and then there's that whole discussion about hard R versus NIGGA, right? I mean,
well, that's kind of way different. I wouldn't even say that. I mean, even in the podcast, that's just kind of outrageous.
What, the hard R?
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason for that. But I mean, Dave Chappelle said that several times in his, and I was kind of like, I kind of squirmed.
Well, you're saying Chris Rock did not say that?
I didn't hear Chris Rock say that, but Dave Chappelle said it. And he said it a couple times in funny, like when he went up to the Kentucky Fried Chicken, and he was like, "What are you going to have for?" He says, "I bet you're going to have chicken, aren't you?" And Dave Chappelle's like, "Yes, I am." It's funny the way you word it. Have you watched the Dave Chappelle one?
I've seen both, or all 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah,
He's got
he's
now.
pretty funny. But
I've
you
never
know,
seen him.
Did you know that Chris Rock was it was live streamed? He was live when he did that, and now it's recorded now. But the first time it was on, it was Netflix's first live stream.
you could tell
Oh,
because
wow.
he stuttered a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and there was some.
It was on Friday or Saturday night, whenever it was on. That was live.
But you didn't watch it.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
I watched 2/3 of it, and
I have no interest in it.
Just like Amazon Prime does live football now,
Right.
Netflix is starting to get into that. So I wonder if they're going to get into the sports realm like Amazon did.
I don't know. I mean, can't hurt.
I don't. I think it's kind of cool. I think some of the live stuff is kind of cool. Some live concerts are fine. Some music venues, and I think that
Right.
stuff. Have some multiple camera views. I think that'd be kind of cool. You know.
You know how they do? Also, they are starting to do like live plays. Do you remember when they did the Sound of Music live?
interesting.
Oh, they've done quite a few though.
That gave me anxiety when I watched that.
They did Peter Pan.
Anxiety.
Yeah, because it was what's her name? It was like a famous actress that is also obviously a singer.
Raquel Welch.
Bette
No.
Midler.
No, I'm talking about Sound of Music. It was like recent, right? I mean, the last
Floor Jensen.
3 or 4 years.
Rihanna.
No, I'm not going to remember who it was, but
Madonna?
anyway, it was a pretty high profile
Barbara Streisand.
country singer, maybe.
Carrie
the one
Underwood?
that won the
Carrie Underwood.
Carrie Underwood. It might have been Carrie Underwood. Sound
We
of
watched.
Music.
I think you're right because
Yeah, Carrie Underwood.
we-
Sound of Music.
yeah, I watched it with my wife because we liked that movie, right?
I mean, and I was watching that with my wife, and like I was thinking, she's a singer, not an actress,
Correct.
and that's live.
Right.
Like you know, I mean, in front of a national audience, and like I just imagine them fumbling their lines or something, and
Well, we've watched a couple of them. We watched that one. It was
I
not.
don't think it was Carrie Underwood.
Yeah, right there.
yeah, it sure was.
Was it? I can't
Yeah.
see her.
Yeah,
name
it sure
here.
was. She did okay. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah, there it is.
The
yeah.
the show was pretty good.
Captain Von Trapp was the guy that was in. He was a vampire in True Love, or True
Oh.
Blood.
Oh.
But we also watched Jesus Christ Superstar,
Who in the hell
which is
do
a
you
really good
think you
musical.
are?
if you haven't seen
I
it.
have not seen that.
But I did not like this adaptation that they did for TV. I did not like that one. Like the music, obviously,
right.
but the adaptation they did for the TV, I didn't care for. John Legend was, God, what role did he? Did he play Jesus? He may have, and but just the production itself, I didn't care for.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, plays are a normal thing, right? I mean, Broadway and all that.
I love going to. My wife and I had season tickets to Dallas Summer Musicals, which was Broadway.
Oh, yeah, down at Fair Park.
We probably held them for 7 or 8 years, and it was date night every Tuesday. We'd go down, and I saw all the musicals. It was great.
Yeah,
I
that's
really
awesome.
enjoyed. We had great seats, and then I don't know why we stopped, but
It was Fair Park, right?
yeah, down at Fair Park. It was all the Broadway musical, right? So Wicked, saw Wicked a bunch of times.
That's so cool.
Took the boys to see Lion King.
My wife and I have not
The Lion
seen
King was
any
really good.
That was fantastic.
We haven't seen any of those type of things.
I recommend it, man.
Highly
They're good.
recommend it.
They're good. We saw
In fact,
Mamma Mia was
Tara and I
really
just
good.
talked about that this past week.
Yeah, going
We
to
were talking
plays or
about-
something.
I mean,
yeah.
The Lion King. I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. I mean,
was.
the tools that they used, the little puppets. I mean, when they had like
They
a
weren't little. They're
flock
like
of
full size elephants.
oh, absolutely. And when they had like the animals that were running down the aisles up onto the stage,
Right.
they had these large sticks. So if it were a giraffe or an elephant, they would have 4 or 5 people that were all parts of the elephant.
And looking like totally real looking.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
moving and everything.
Yeah, the legs went, and the elephant trunk, and the
That's super
birds
cool.
flying. And
Yeah, I have tremendous respect for drama and theater and all that kind of stuff.
there's a lot of choreography.
I recommend it. And we used to go down and we treat ourselves. They have a restaurant there on site that
It's a McDonald's.
it's a Wendy's.
Oh.
No, it's
I prefer
it's-
Wendy's.
It's it may be a buffet, but
Oh.
it was an extra, I don't know, $50 a head. So we'd treat ourselves. Otherwise, we'd grab some food on the way down because it was after work.
Oh.
Yes.
So you'll have the $50 to go to that, but if I say, hey, let's do an extra $50 for the bourbon dinner, you totally shit on that.
Yeah, don't get crazy. Yeah,
What bourbon
That's
dinner?
too much.
Oh, the one we skipped?
Yeah.
We skip it? What do you mean?
We weren't able to go. Well, the Chuckster was out of town or something like that.
Oh,
happened.
yeah.
It just
So
didn't
anyway-
work out.
So anyway,
The thing we missed,
I
that's right.
recommend the summer music, but you have to get out to it early because those tickets sell out, and then it's secondary market, and it goes fucking just like any concert.
Just like
it's
anything.
stupid,
Yeah.
right? And you have to get down on the floor because the seats up top, the leg room, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So just an FYI.
Anyway, that would be something. I mean, it doesn't have to be big time productions, and I mean, there are
Well,
plenty.
these are Broadway shows.
Well, I was saying that there's if you don't want to spring for all that kind of stuff, there's tons of community theaters and high school productions.
Well,
and,
I'm
Those
thinking.
suck.
I think that you're
Oh,
right.
they're not worth it.
If Amazon
You're
and
right.
or
My bad.
Netflix were to pick up that market and start broadcasting live shows like that, it would only benefit the plays themselves.
yeah, the broader.
Oh my god! Because people are kind of like, oh
community.
my god, I want to go see that.
Well, I tell
In
you
person,
what.
right.
Well, I tell you what. The Broadway shows are closing in New York because they were out of business for a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
And they opened them up, but then the crime is bad. People weren't going because they had the regulations. If you're inside, you can only wear masks and all that bullshit, right? But
Oh,
then
yeah.
the crime around that area as well, where the tourists weren't even coming in to want to go.
Right.
So there's some big
Is that
ones.
still that way? Or
Yeah,
you're
there's
saying
some
they're
big
still
one-
closing
There's
now?
some big ones. Phantom of the Opera, I believe, is closing after it's been run for like 35, 40 years.
Oh my god.
Closing down. A couple of big ones are like, yeah, we're done. We can't make money at this
Yeah, they're
anymore.
losing money.
Yeah, because no one's coming.
And they got Broadway shows right now, like the Book of Mormon, Aladdin,
Book of Mormon.
Moulin Rouge.
Book of Mormon. I think I saw that. That's a Monty Python one.
They have the Phantom of the Opera,
Outstanding. I
Life
recommend
of Pi, Wicked, Harry Potter, and the Cursed Child.
I saw Wicked. I've seen that 3 times. That's really good too.
You know, you were talking about Monty Python. What's the Life of
Life of Brian.
Brian? So my wife and I, we started watching that because I guess it showed up on Netflix, and I was like, you know what? I've never seen it. This is supposed to be really funny. Painful.
It is. It's British
Guys,
humor.
That was so painful.
It's 70s British humor.
My wife tuned out within the first 27 seconds, and I was like, no, let's fight through this. Let's watch this. And finally, she was kind of like, you want to finish it? You can finish it. She kind of wandered off, right? And then I was like, yeah, this is bad. Forget it. Come back. We'll watch something else.
Right.
It was bad.
Well, I mean, I'm not a huge Monty Python fan, but I remember my parents had date night, and they went to see a Monty Python. It was called The Meaning of Life.
Oh yeah.
And they came home and they were like, that was the worst movie I have ever seen.
Did they walk out of it?
They may have. They said there was a scene because it was like short skits or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the shots was this huge fat guy being gluttonous, eating everything in the restaurant.
Oh yeah, and he explodes.
And then he pukes everywhere and
No,
then he explodes.
He explodes.
Yes.
They say, "Yeah, try this. It's wafer thin. It's wafer thin." Like he wants him to try the little cookie or something,
Right.
and he goes, "I cannot. I'm so full." And then he eats it and literally explodes.
He has huge ribs and there's
Yes,
meat.
and then he's sitting there vomiting on the girl that's trying to clean up the vomit.
Yes.
God, it was just so over the top.
So
over the
I've
top.
never seen the movie, but
It's horrible.
I've
Don't
seen
watch
pictures, and I was just like, I specifically remember them coming home going, "That was the worst movie I have ever
There's a
seen."
couple funny scenes, but I mean, this
Which one was this?
The Meaning of Life.
Well, and I'm talking about the life of Brian.
Oh, well, The Life of Brian,
It's so painful.
a young man who was born one stable down and on the same night as Jesus. He becomes intrigued by a young rebel, Judith, to try impress her. Brian joins the independent movement against the Romans, the People's Front, Judah.
So one of the opening scenes is the 3 kings, right? The wise men, or they're wise men or 3 kings, whatever. They show up. Yeah, they show up in this where the baby is, and they give their gifts and all this kind of stuff, and then they figure out, and then they walk out, right? And then they come back in and they're like, grab their gifts back. Because
We're in the wrong stall.
They realize it's not Jesus.
Right.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, but I haven't looked to see what they have this year, but it sounds like they have some good ones this year. So
That was 1979. You talking about the Broadway shows?
yeah, the
probably,
Dallas
yeah.
musicals. So, as a matter of fact, Julie and I just watched the movie Phantom of the Opera about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, that's cool.
Is
Yeah,
that
we
with,
should definitely
Floor,
plan on.
Floor Jensen?
No, it had Gerard Butler and some girl.
We should plan on doing that this summer.
Yeah, but I enjoy the music. There's some.
Well, in Dallas they have a Tootsie.
I love that movie.
I wonder if it has Dustin Hoffman.
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean,
Terry Guard.
well, we should. Are the tickets on sale? Because we've got to jump on it.
April 20th or 18th to the 30th.
Oh, is when they go on sale?
That's the showtime. I
Yeah,
imagine they're on sale. They're on sale right now. actually.
2-week runs, I think.
Yeah, we might. If we're going to do it, we need to jump on it because, like you said, the tickets probably go quick.
Especially the big shows like Family Opera guarantees out,
Right.
or you're going to get some shitty seat on a weird day.
Right.
Well, they have coming up, like in
A
the
weird
month
day.
of March, they have something called the Thorn.
No.
Okay.
I'd
then
save
they
your
have,
money and see one of the ones, especially
See one of the big ones.
see one of the big ones, just to introduce yourself, right?
$800 a ticket.
Well,
I've never seen them that high, but
Yeah.
then there's the Music Hall at Fair Park underwater tour. Let's see here.
Well, what about symphonies and operas? You guys ever get into that
I
stuff?
don't know if I can get to an opera. Maybe once just to see the production value.
I could do the symphony.
But the symphony I'd enjoy. It depends what music they are, right?
Oh,
So if it's John
listen-
Williams, I'd definitely go see that.
Oh, John Williams, or just
Oh,
like
for sure.
Tchaikovsky, or any of them, Bach.
Who's the guy who wrote the Lord of the Rings? I like that soundtrack. I think that'd
Oh,
be a really good
you're
one.
talking about movie soundtracks.
Well, no. Well, it was symphony.
It's symphonies. It's classical music
And those
written
symphonies will put on
for movies.
Yeah, those symphonies will put on certain concerts. So like the music of John Williams is tonight or whatever.
I mean, John Williams. I mean, but they have like, for example, like the symphonies that play like the soundtrack to like Skyrim are
Yeah.
incredible. I mean,
Skyrim.
video games.
Yeah, that's got a great
oh,
soundtrack.
I got
There
you.
are a lot of video games out there that
Well, they're
have
pouring
incredible.
serious. Oh, they're pouring serious money into video games. They
I know
have
the guy-
actors.
Yeah.
They have actors. They have scripts. They have storylines. They have music. Yeah, like you said.
Yeah.
I just downloaded the Hogwarts Harry Potter video game
I'm going to like just now.
But you didn't.
a couple days ago.
Hold on. You didn't boycott it? I thought you were supposed to boycott it because
No, I'm going to download it as well. Brandon has it and has been playing it.
you know what I'm talking about, though.
Well, I told you that last time that they're trying to.
Why was I boycotting it?
Because of the author.
Because of J.K. Rowling.
Remember, she
She's
believes
a
that there is
TERF.
a man and a woman, and there's nothing in between. And so the
Yes,
the trans community is.
But yeah, but I
butchering
don't
her.
care about that.
I know.
I know.
I know. We don't.
But what happened? What happens is some of these people, your trophies and everything are public. They're like, oh, how can you hide your Harry Potter trophies from the public so you don't get harassed
Right.
by the community?
Oh yeah, because if you're into Harry Potter, or if you're into that game, or you're into anything
That
Harry
means
Potter,
means you're
that means
anti-trans.
you're anti-trans.
That's just nonsense.
And then the woke mob attacks you.
Correct.
I don't care. You know what? That whole woke thing could kiss my ass.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, speaking of kissing my ass with the woke thing, there are so many people that are coming out. I mean, there's some guy named Russell Brand, I think is his name.
Well, he was a comedian.
Yeah, he was a comedian,
He's been
English
gay
guy.
for a while. What do you mean?
No,
Part
coming out in support of
He's not gay.
Russell
no,
Brand?
He's coming out in
No,
support of
he's not
logic.
gay. He
I
just,
thought he
Facts.
was.
no, he just dresses flamboyantly, but he's
No,
not gay.
I don't believe he's
Oh,
gay.
I thought he was.
Oh, he's
sorry.
married.
He's over the top.
Continue.
Just-
Sorry. So he's coming out and saying what?
Oh, he's basically calling people out. You know, he got on the Morning Joe show, and
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah, but he was, they called him out on him stating facts, and they didn't like it. And he was just recently on the Bill Maher show,
Correct.
quoting the stuff that it was when he was on the Joe, the Morning Joe show, and he was also calling out how how fucked up the media is on denying facts, and in calling people just because they have a different opinion. It was absolutely ruthless for them. For Joe Rogan when talking about the ivermectin thing, it was ridiculous because he was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, especially on the COVID stuff. A lot of that truth is slapping them in the face right now.
And now Fauci,
Big time.
There's some emails that just came out that were Fauci's is coming up with the plan to
He was pressuring. I think somebody to come out and prove that it didn't come from the lab.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was. He was
Right.
he was
Came
trying to
from
say,
a pangolin.
yeah, well,
Right.
it
He
doesn't
was, trying
matter.
to, he was trying to get some scientific evidence behind his narrative.
Yeah, and the
Believe
only
the
thing,
science.
yeah, it's believe the science, believe the science, man.
Oh, that guy's a total fraud, man. He's like neck deep in it.
But nothing's going to happen to him. What's going to happen?
He retired now.
He's in his
so
80s, right?
They could
They could take away his pension. Wouldn't that be nice?
Doesn't matter.
He's the highest paid Never been
Was.
official.
Yeah, it was. He retired.
Yeah, but he's
what's
got
his pension?
so much money from
Right,
the
right,
the
right.
NIH, because he's got royalties.
God, why doesn't he just retire and go away?
Well, I think
Well,
he should
I
be
don't-
Is
shot
he just
out
an
in public.
attention whore?
Well, hold on. Is he still in the limelight?
Yes, he's still making the news. I see him in interviews still.
Oh, I didn't know he was making the rounds and
Yes.
doing. Okay, yeah, fuck him. He
Well,
needs
why
to-
is he still around?
Yeah, he needs
go
to
away.
get the hell out. Yeah. I want to bring up a funny story about masks. So in New York, in New York, the New York Police Department was telling shop owners to
Oh yeah,
tell shoppers that
to
come in
remove the mask.
to remove their masks, because what's happening is rampant crime,
Correct.
and they're covering their face with masks, and they can't catch them because they can't on camera. They can't figure out who they are. Right?
Right.
yeah, but they
So-
can put it back on, but they have to remove it before they come in.
Yeah.
so they go past the cameras with it on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's real. And
It's
you know what?
crazy. They're telling shop owners to tell the shoppers to remove their masks. Yes, I love it.
Well, that kind of goes back. You mentioned Portland earlier, and
What a mess.
They're in a big mess. We talk about New York and Chicago having some troubles, but I think Portland may be one of the worst.
Well, I mean, it's real. Like the mass exodus of businesses is real.
Oh yeah.
Walgreens pulled out 5 stores. Walmart's closing 2 stores.
No, they're closing all of their stores. I
right,
heard.
right. Oh yeah. I mean, it's real.
So if you rely on them for like pharmaceutical shit,
oh yeah.
oh, now I have to drive. Who Walgreens are closed. CVS is. I don't know what else they have out there. All your mom and pop pharmacy shops are probably closed.
Well, I mean, it's way more than that as well. I mean, but
Yeah.
you're right. Those are critical needs,
Correct.
right, for people that need pharmaceuticals.
Who live downtown or whatever.
But dude, all the shops. I mean, people are saying that they're lifelong Portland people are like it's a ghost town.
Yeah. And they did it to themselves.
Totally. They
Yeah, so there's a
they
specific county
voted
that's
in
downtown.
idiots that are defund
It's
the police.
Multnomah County in Portland. That is basically the area where Chaz was.
Was it
And-
Chaz or Chop?
Oh, those
It's the same
hey,
thing,
those
yeah.
It was both,
businesses
wasn't it?
sued and they won.
Yeah, so
They
they're
didn't get that much.
they
though.
had
23 million.
That should be more than that.
I know
think.
it's not that much actually.
so they had it's that little concentrated area, but 2,300 people moved out of there,
Yeah.
that one little county.
one little. Well, and here's the other thing. One of the reasons for people to feel like it's okay to rob a store is they're like, what do you care? This isn't your money anyway. You're going to get insurance money, and
No, they don't.
well, and that's what people have been. The shop owners have been posting on the windows. Is we've had 13 burglaries, and the first 2 were covered by insurance,
Correct.
and so we're eating it,
Yep, I read that story as well.
and we can't make it,
right.
and so we're closing.
Yep.
And we've been here for 25 years, and see you later.
And suck it.
Suck it. Yeah.
We're going to Texas.
So I guess all those
I-
folks that have super deep pockets and are super wealthy are probably going up to Portland and gobbling up all that real estate, and it's probably China.
And because it's going to make a comeback. I mean, that's beautiful country.
At some point.
Oh, it's going to make a comeback.
Well, what about Detroit? Detroit basically was no man's land.
but that's
for
not
years.
beautiful country either. Anyway, sorry.
Well,
go ahead.
Michigan's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
know.
but not Detroit.
Well, not now.
Anyway,
Portland's not
we'll
real
finish
beautiful
Detroit.
right now.
So
Detroit
it's making
hasn't
a
been-
resurgence,
Well,
right?
that's what I mean. How long did it take for Detroit to start getting turned around?
So if I remember,
Years.
it was spiraling down the tubes, and they hired somebody like an emergency manager who was a businessman. I mean, it was some weird scenario where somebody literally, the state appointed somebody to take over Detroit to like right the ship. And so, almost like a Ross Perot type of guy.
Right.
And he went in there and it was like boom, 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 boom. And we're doing this and we're doing that. And it started to come around. That's what I remember. Now, that was
But-
about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but Detroit's one of those places that's been bad for
Ever.
30 years,
Well,
40
it's been-
years.
It's
I
been
actually
under
saw-
Democrat rule for 30 years.
I actually saw a documentary where what would Earth look like if it was not touched by man for 40 years? And they used Detroit as an example. Some of the buildings and shit.
Oh, that's
Because they were overgrown and
that's
falling apart.
horrible.
This is what Earth will look like if
And they
we
just
disappeared.
added some deer and maybe a woolly mammoth. And
Probably, but they're
that's
just
what
like,
it looks like?
This is what it's going to look because this has been like this for 40 years.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
No one's touched it.
That's unbelievable. It's so sad.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, how long is it going to take to right the ship in Portland? And
It'll probably take 20 years.
well, that's what I mean, because it's still going on.
Oh yeah, no,
The bullshit's still going
it's
on. Up there.
unabated.
It's
Absolutely.
not stopped yet. So that's going to have to stop. Then you turn it around, and then you're going to have to get people who's going to be willing to dump money into it. Go, do I really want to do this?
Yeah, to trust that we can do this again.
Right.
I mean, they're gonna have to rebuild up their police force, right?
Right.
I mean, and they have to recruit, right? I mean, like people that, you know what I mean? I don't know.
If it takes long enough, so those buildings are going to have to come down, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. But it's sad.
Well, you also have Oregon is a lot of states are like this. California's like this, but you have a section of Oregon who wants to leave Oregon.
Yep.
And it's about 70% of the landmass.
And California is the same way.
Right. So it's about 70% of the landmass of Oregon wants to join Idaho, but it's only like 9% of the population.
Right. That's right. That's the problem. They have no say-so in any government affairs in their state because they're grossly outnumbered.
Correct. So
Except you're right. They're all the landowners. They're the farmers.
It's the rural area.
The rural areas.
Who's
That's
like,
right.
we don't want to live by whatever they got going on in Portland.
Right.
Because that's...
Or L.A. Or San Francisco.
Yeah.
Or San Diego.
So you have this very thin strip that runs down. And they showed a map of what Oregon would look like if this happened. And Oregon shrank down dramatically.
to cities, basically.
Yeah, basically, it was 30% of what it was.
So I disagree with that. I think that is wrong. I mean,
What, to want to leave the state?
no, the way they've got the lines divided. I know it's by per population, and part of me is kind of like, well, that's right. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, there has to be some sort of thought where you, like you said, 70% of the land mass doesn't want to be part of that. So, I mean, there comes a point where maybe there should be a line. Maybe 70% is good enough. So, all right, look, maybe we need to rethink how this is going down. Maybe have a representative per.
Well, that's why we have the Electoral College.
Right.
So the two coasts don't dictate what happens with the rest of the country.
Yep. Do it.
Well, yeah, but Electoral College, that's only for electing presidents.
Correct.
But so, I mean, how are you going to have electoral? Okay, so with that premise, maybe they ought to have some sort of electoral college for,
in the states.
voting in the different states.
Well, no, for Congress, they have that too, right? They have the number of representatives is reflective of the population of those states.
Correct.
So
they
who
do
gets
that as
to
well.
pick? I mean, I think like for Oregon, for example, I mean, it's only Oregon. If Oregon wants to separate into two, the United States as a whole shouldn't have any say in that whatsoever.
I think we do, though. I think there's a...
But why?
Say that again. If
the state of Oregon,
Okay.
if the people of Oregon say, hey, you know what? We want to cut Oregon in half, and we're going to be and we're going to be gone.
create a new state?
I'm just
Well,
saying.
they want to join Idaho.
Whatever.
Does the federal government get involved in that?
you know what, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure
I
what it
don't
would
think
take
it's the
because
government's
I know
problem.
this
Or-
same conversation's happened in California as well. There's been the right side, right, the east side of California is the same scenario,
Right.
where they're staunchly red. I mean, how many times you hear about we all know how bleeding blue, right? How liberal California is, but then you find out, in the House of Representatives, it's the Republican from California, and you're like,
Right.
what? How is that possible?
Right.
Well, because there are precincts, right? There are districts on the east side of California that are staunchly red.
Correct.
And like Orange County was, right? And that just flipped blue. I don't know how that's possible, but anyway. So yeah,
It's like a
that's,
virus.
yeah, it is. It's awful. Anyway, but that's a great question, because I mean, okay, well, let's extend it further. They're submitting a bill. The Texas legislature is submitting a bill for us to secede, and I think they do this regularly.
They do.
So, what does that take, right? So, if they were to vote yes
To leave the U.S.?
yeah, to leave the U.S., right? So, I mean, you know what I mean?
That's never going to happen.
Exactly, and it's not going to happen for the other stuff either. For the,
Well, I
for
think
the
it's-
counties
well, I know,
wanting to
but-
go to
but
other states,
But I think it's different. They don't want to secede from the U.S. They want to secede from... Oregon.
I get it, but it's the same sort of. How would that happen? Like, what rules have to be, and
Correct.
who has to get involved? Because I think
Idaho has to approve it. Oregon has to approve it.
right. And does the federal government have to approve it?
Well, also here's the thing: they're stuck. This 70% of landmass is 9%. They're all going to vote for it, while the other 91% is going to vote against it.
Right.
So they're never going to win.
They're never going to win. But on top of that, just imagine if it were to happen. And remember, each state is like a little country where they have, exports, right? And taxes. And so they lose all their farmland.
Right.
And they lose all their crops and their exports to other states and other countries. And suddenly they don't get that tax revenue anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so much that.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, but it's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. I think it can happen by force. What if we start sending arms instead of to Ukraine? We send arms to Eastern Oregon
Or to Idaho.
or to Western Idaho.
Potato guns.
All they have to do is start eliminating a few people, like the Soros family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every day I read another story about a Soros-backed DA.
He has a bunch of them.
Unbelievable. He has
of them in.
infiltrated our law enforcement. Or no, not even law enforcement.
That's where he focused.
He
focused on the law.
He has a community of people that work for him specifically to do that.
Unbelievable.
In fact,
Smart.
if
you're going to try to bring a country down from the inside out, you disrupt law and order.
There is a conversation
doing.
that somebody
exactly what
had with Governor Abbott, and I forget who this was. But they had a conversation with Governor Abbott, and Governor Abbott explained that that's exactly what George Soros does.
Yeah.
He says what he'll do is he'll fund 2 Democrats, and he'll get one on the left that he wants, and he'll get one on the further left, like way left, and to compete against him, so it'll guarantee, and he'll fund the shit out of the guy that's so far left he won't get voted in, but he'll be so greatly funded that he'll stay in.
He's eroding, right?
Yeah.
He's getting that message slowly but surely into the mainstream, right?
And it's just that's the way he does it, man. In George Soros, is he a United States citizen?
No, he's Austrian.
So why
Hungarian
does he have influence over anything?
Because he's got money.
He's got billions.
But why
of
does
dollars.
he have? Why is it legal for him to have influence over our elections?
That's a great question.
Well, I think they're like think tanks and shit like that.
They're like,
So they're U.S. companies.
yeah, they're like as if it were shell companies. You know how you can't tell where the money really came from because it's 4 shell companies deep.
I mean, we're smart now. I mean,
It's
we're
like that.
smarter, I should say. It's just like we should. I mean,
Yeah. Why do you
Come
let
on,
why do you
man.
let a foreigner mingle with our elections? The whole Russian collusion thing. Well, that's illegal. Why is the Soros collusion allowed?
It shouldn't be allowed.
Why is the Hungarian collusion allowed, or wherever he's from?
Yeah, it's not. It shouldn't be. Right, that is absolutely meddling in our elections, meddling in our. Is it? It's not law enforcement. What do you call it? It's law. Those are the prosecutors are the ones that bring charges or drop charges or don't bring charges. Is really what's happening.
Correct.
but that
So what do you call that? It's not law enforcement. It's prosecutorial
I don't know.
branch. I don't know what you call it.
Sure.
All right. Anyway,
So the Joros funded
The who?
mayor
Joros?
George
Joros?
Soros
Oh, George
funded
Soros.
mayor
Joros, yeah.
Lightfoot is now out.
huge.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah, and she's out. I'll tell you what, I like her from the only reason I like her, just this one little snippet, is I like her voice.
I don't.
I'm not sure I've ever heard her speak.
Oh, I do. I like the way she
I
talks.
chose not to watch
'Cause
any
she's
videos
calm.
with her.
She's cool, even though she's an idiot and she's fucked everything up.
She has.
There's people
too.
that will rip her up one side and down another, and she just handles it so
she
cool.
she placed third.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a trouncing for an incumbent. That
And she
has
said
never
it,
happened.
She said it was misogynistic, racist,
Oh yeah, of course.
well,
because she's a black gay.
well, you know what? She could take
Of
her
course.
her black donut bumping ass and bail.
She's
Yeah.
probably a millionaire at this point.
I don't give a fuck.
Oh, guarantee she is.
Hey, look, she did. I mean, if whatever, man. I don't live in Chicago, so who am I to throw stones? But it's just like if she were to live, it's just
Watch her.
It's
Watch her
criminal.
move to Texas.
God.
Wouldn't that be just the
Down to Austin?
yeah? Oh, well, that'd be the only place to go.
Become the Austin mayor?
Austin's Austin's bad right now.
Austin's
really
bad. I mean, it's following in the same footsteps as all these other Democrat-run cities that are falling apart. I mean, why can't people understand it? Why can't they see it? It's because they're so idealistic that they think that what they're doing is the right thing to do. And yeah, there's going to be some setbacks, but
Guys,
whatever.
I got to share something with you.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna trim my goatee.
Like off?
It's
You getting sick of it?
yeah. I'm gonna remove about 50% of it.
Take it all off.
No. The wife doesn't like it. She says I look like my father, and it's creepy.
I've done that every once in a while.
Just leave the mustache.
Look like my father?
No, I trim the thing all the way, like literally completely off. And my wife does not like it either. She's like, it looks like you have no upper lip and you look like you're 12 years old. And
You should do like the Fu Manchu. Take it all off and just have a really long all the way down.
Well, I thought about doing that like during Halloween, and or I could strategically let it grow so that I could do something fun like that.
The only thing I've ever done is if I've let it grow a little bit longer, nothing like that. But if I let it grow pretty bushy and then I choose to trim the whole thing off, I do it in stages. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's what I do.
First, I'll do handlebars, and I'll walk out and be totally obnoxious with the wife, and I'll be like, "Hey, baby, how you doing?" She's like, "No."
Yep, I do the same
And I'm
thing.
like, "No, really, no." And then I'll be okay, fine, and I'll go in and then I'll do the next one, right?
Right.
Whatever I can do, what's left of it, right? And it's so
you
fun.
hit it with the Hitler?
Yeah, the final one would be like,
What are you watching?
here.
The last time I did
I don't know
this,
why I became Chinese right there.
The last time I did it, I did a really... You ever see the guys with the really thin mustache?
Yes.
That's what I ended with, and
It's
I walked
creepy.
out, and she's just like, hell no.
You were the
Looks
guy
so bad.
from.
'Cause it's
It's so
gray, for
fun.
one thing.
It's so
It was so
fun to
bad,
do
yeah.
that, though. Anyway, yeah, I could see why you would do that because I could see it getting. I can't even imagine
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of
how long
uncomfortable.
you have it is just it's obscene.
Yeah, plus it's kind of hard. Like I tried going through it.
Looks like a
Whatever.
bush,
Yeah, well,
Ugh.
like a vagina.
yeah.
Ugh.
Well, actually, it's a little
God.
oil pour right now. I need to put a little.
Can't even
juice
look at
in
him
here.
right
That's
now.
what, that's what his mouth is.
I'm definitely not looking at him right now.
What? My mouth looks like a vagina.
Oh, God.
Like I
Why do we keep saying that word?
Philly steak
Paul's like checking
sandwich.
you out now.
No, I'm not. I'm looking away.
Stop looking at me. Get your finger out of my mouth. What the hell's wrong with you?
God. That's too much.
Stop touching it.
Too much.
Tickle, tickle.
It's glistening.
Oh my God.
What? What did I say?
That's
I
my.
don't know.
All right. Well, I drank.
And I'm always the
I
one
had
that has some sort of soundbite. It's
I had
ridiculous.
an extra large pour, so I'm feeling kind of it right now. And the bourbon that we chose to have,
Yeah, we
so
blew right over that.
the bourbon of the week, the first half, is something that we've already had before, and coincidentally, I have received as my.
It's a different one, though.
A different one.
Is it different?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
that's
Fairly
important to
different.
know.
It is different.
All right.
Stellum has about 4 or 5, maybe 6 different
And all the
bourbons.
bottles suck, and all the labels suck.
Well, they all look the same. Except
I
they're
know, it's
different color.
retarded. Why would you do that? I don't understand
It's
their
very
marketing.
generic.
Their marketing
Mr.
team
Producer,
needs to
pop
be
up
fired.
the Stellum for us.
I'm being dead serious. Their marketing team
All right,
needs
well,
to be
Stellum
completely
bourbon finds
fired.
its flavors in the tension of 3 Indiana bourbon mash bills, 2 of which are high rye, with the third being most exclusively corn. Older barrels from both Kentucky and Tennessee are folded in slowly through a multi-grain step blending process. So this is basically a big MGP thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure
2
is.
are high rye, 1 being exclusively corn. It's not bad. I do feel the burn. I guess I've always attributed that to high rye, but I mean, I think we've learned that that doesn't necessarily mean that
Scroll down a little bit.
because we've had some smooth ryes. But I'm not sure how I feel about this one.
Intense clove. Tell you what, it is spicy. I will
It
tell you
is.
that.
It's a very spicy finish.
It says marshmallow and cotton candy. I didn't quite get that. I've got more of a cayenne pepper. Oh, there you go. Cayenne pepper, cinnamon, black pepper, stone fruit.
Oh, would you stop?
I
with your
get the
stone
tart,
fruit?
underripe blackberry note, personally.
Wow.
I don't get any of it.
It's very peppery.
I hate all these descriptions. I really do. I don't taste any of the shit that they list up
You
here.
don't taste the candied ginger?
Actually,
Maybe
I
the
do now.
aroma of honeysuckle.
Yeah.
That really jumped out at me.
Oh, these.
What about the
fuck?
cinnamon streusel?
Shut the hell up. When are you going to smell a glass of bourbon and go, oh my God, that is honeysuckle?
Oh, I've got a spice supported
That's
by
so ridiculous.
the
It's so
tart,
ridiculous.
underripe black cherry and apricot.
Did you
Underripe blackberry.
Yeah.
Underripe.
Like it's not good enough to just say blackberry.
Yeah, it's eating
It's
something that's a
underripe.
little too
It's
tart,
tart.
and kind of like, where it makes your cheeks hurt.
Yep.
You know these guys that write this shit up are laughing their asses off when they're
So
done.
it says,
They're just literally trying to pull out the most ridiculous shit they can come up with.
And for those bourbon enthusiasts out there, this
Okay.
one actually has on here, and this is, I've never seen this one before, but it says, with the addition of water, the strong pepper notes are more subdued, allowing for sweet cinnamon, streusel, and stewed apples to come to the front of the palate.
Well, everything is subdued with water.
Yeah. Yep.
Everything.
Did you have honeysuckle flowers growing up?
Yes.
No.
Because I remember sitting.
Yes.
I remember as
No.
a kid sitting outside in the summertime, picking
Yeah.
the flowers.
You pull the
little
thing
stem
out,
out.
and then you suck it up.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
Do you suck it out of the flower?
Well, it's like a drip
no.
of sweet nectar, is what it is.
Yeah.
Ugh.
What are you
It's
talking about?
good.
It was good.
It was good.
Well, I don't know. It just sounds weird to like pluck something off a plant and suck something out of it.
Well, you don't suck the flower.
Well, okay.
You like tongue it.
Oh.
That makes
Well,
it better.
why don't you demonstrate?
No.
No.
Why don't you demonstrate you tonguing a flower?
We
now?
need video for that. So
No, we
No,
don't.
but what you're
God.
saying is right on. They
Yeah.
used to have that in, I don't know where the hell I lived, but
Probably New Jersey when you're doing it.
it's probably. So yeah, that'd be the thing. You go out there,
Yeah,
pull
out
them off.
in the those little tributaries behind your house.
Oh man, that was
Where the Architeuthis.
fantastic. No, they had like a major, super large snapping turtles.
That would take your leg off if it got hold of
Ah, yeah.
And it-
Well,
and it would like come out of this
gross.
this bundle
Oh.
of honeysuckle plants, and it would just
Now,
Well,
they-
honeysuckle. I mean, it's like almost like a bush or a vine.
yes,
You need hundreds of
Yes.
these little white flowers.
and they kind of and they're very cone shaped.
Correct.
They're conical. You know, the cone
Yeah.
shaped. I guess that's the best way to put
They
it.
just pull out the
And-
very middle.
Yeah, pull out the stem.
I don't know.
What is
not
that
the
called?
Stem, but I don't know. Stippin or something like that.
the butt.
No, it's the penis.
Well, maybe
with the
ooh.
drip of sugar on
The
it.
Well, maybe I'll get really lucky and I'll find myself in a what do you call that? A trove, a patch,
Just-
a
no,
patch
you
of
could s-
honeysuckle, and I'll be like, oh, this is Stellum bourbon.
Yeah, we'd sit there and do it. Eat like 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah, smells exactly like Stellum bourbon.
That's right.
No.
Does smell good though. They do smell good.
Well, of course. All right. Anyway, let's
Hold
move
on,
on.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell that's called.
No, let's not. It's
What
not important anymore.
the part of the honeysuckle that you lick.
So we bought this, right? And this is the second time we tried it. It's not bad. All right.
The anther.
It's not bad. I do like the proof, right? It's 115 proof. It packs a punch.
Otherwise known as a stamen.
But let me ask, would we buy is this a repeat? Would we buy this again?
Well, he has one coming. So.
Yeah, I do. It's a different one.
I
So is
know.
it a repeat? Look, I think I think what we need to do is save that bottle. No, I think we need to keep the bottle as it is, with the being 1/3, whatever it is right now. Just keep it as part of our collection. No.
Well, it's not ready for the infinity
bottle.
Yeah.
No, I would leave it there. I would wait for somebody that says, "Oh man, I really want some of that Stellum," and to be like, "Here, I'm gonna tear it up, make you pour yourself a nice big glass,
Yeah,
and then when we're
like-
done, we're gonna load it up in an infinity bottle."
Yeah, just finish it. Like
Or if one of us wants to have a pour of it or something like that, it's like I went for that Stellum again. Just pour it. And then,
like I said, I don't want to dog it. It's not bad. But I mean, now when we've gotten to the 200 range, it wouldn't be one of our go-tos, right?
No.
No, it's good.
Be in the bottom
I
25.
know that's what. See, I feel bad because I'm like
Yeah,
like shitting all over it, but I'm
it's
good
not
bourbon.
horrible. I
I'm
mean, look,
not.
I would score it a 6 of 10.
I think it probably goes
I would give
6
it-
out to 7.
I would give it a 6. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
It'd
5.
be-
We dropped the lows, so 6 out to
5.8.
7.
it's not a Williamsburg by any means, but
Take the high score, take the low score,
or
and
the
then take the middle one.
backbeat.
Yeah.
Anyway, So
this happened pretty quick there. All right, well, Dudes Like Us, it is March 7th and 2 weeks off, and we've got spring break coming up for the college kids, which we could talk about that. The whole debacle that Preston gone through, not being able to set up school for the next semester.
Oh, yeah.
what
The hell?
we
We're
gotta
talking
cover
about that
that.
in the second half.
We got to
man.
cover that.
Yeah.
Because it's
Hey, the other
important
thing
that
that's
Dudes Like
coming
Us
up
need
is
to know.
March Madness is coming up.
I have
don't care
no
about
desire
that.
about that. No, it's not.
What the what?
Yeah.
Only if the
You are
UC
in a massive minority of like dudes like us.
only if the UC Bearcats or Xavier Musketeers are in it.
Lord.
Dudes Like Us, I'm Sean.
I'm Paul.
And I'm Jeff.
What is wrong with you guys?